like that. I love putting shows together and making them work. And I believe completely in a symbiotic relationship. So even with sponsors and everything, I will never just take a sponsor's complete everything and not give anything back kind of thing. I believe anything in life is symbiotic. So even in business, there's no way that I would, how can I put it, make everything and the other person nothing kind of thing. And I've learned that in life, you know, even if I have to make a little less, I'll always make sure that everyone around me also gains from what I'm doing.
So lovely to meet you here on Zoom.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you. You've been touring the world, I see, with Afrikaans music.
Yeah. No, I do it often, every year. I'm somewhere. This year I've been in China in January, and then Australia, New Zealand, and London now in the last month.
Amazing. Yeah. But I have to ask you about China, because I spoke to a ballet director a while ago, and he said that the audiences are quite different. You know, they react differently. How did you find that in comparison?
Well, the people that came to our show were a lot of South Africans and obviously their Chinese friends now, you know, a lot of them work as teachers in China and stuff. So it was kind of being like at home, but not really. You know, it's like they're introducing their new friends to our music. Still believe music is a universal language, so it was a lot of fun, I must say.
And Afrikaans, so you sing mainly Afrikaans?
I sing mainly Afrikaans, but I do a lot of English. I've done quite a few English albums as well that have had great success here. I had a song called Standing on the Edge that went to #1 on most of the stations here. And I had, I've done quite a few English albums, original music.
And so you do mostly your own writing, songwriting?
Yeah, 95% of the stuff that I sing that have been on all my albums is written by either myself or me with a team. I've had a team, Adams Kleinans, Quincy van Niekerk. We were a team for about probably 15 years. But Adams, Quincy's now retired out of that now. So Adams and I've carried on. Every now and then we'll bring in new blood to write a couple of songs with us. I got a guy called Daniel Green, originally from London. He's been living in South Africa for about 15 years. He's like a party kind of singer. He's got a party band. And just one day out of the blue, I kind of said to him, but don't you write? You're such a good party artist. He said, yeah, he writes. And then he came and sat with us for a session, and we've written quite a few songs together. And then I found out subsequent to that his brother is John Green. John Green is a very famous songwriter in Nashville as well as London. So he's worked with everyone from Kylie Minogue to James Bay to What If I Never Get Over You? Who was that now? It was Lady A, the old lady antebellum. So he's had great success. Yeah. So I kind of got Daniel to get his writing chops out. So we've been writing quite a few songs together. Yeah.
But it must be amazing also because, I mean, you yourself is a good songwriter, but collaborating with other songwriters, that must be a great creative collaboration then.
Yeah, and I do it often because you don't want all your stuff to just sound the same the whole time. Your brain works in a certain way. Luckily, I listen to a lot of different kinds of music. So my musical side of my brain is affected by a lot of different kinds of music. So I'll always bring out different kinds of stuff. But it's good to get new blood in that have a different way of playing a guitar, maybe, or playing a piano, and then you work out different kinds of beats and melodies. But my music has always been kind of about a feel-good kind of vibe. So that's never changed.
Yeah, it's kind of catchy, your songs. If you hear them, it's not you're not likely to forget them.
Yeah, I think that's been the purpose. I don't even think I did that on purpose. It's just melodies that are in me. A lot of the songs I just lie at night and I dream them, and dream melodies and dream themes or whatever, and I go and sing it into my phone. And when we get together to do the songwriting, I've kind of prepared there with a lot of different stuff.
Mm. But Afrikaans music and the Afrikaans scene, I've been speaking to quite a few Afrikaans singers, songwriters, and performers, and it seems to be everybody saying that the Afrikaans music scene is quite huge in South Africa.
No, it's bustling in South Africa. I think we've got a very loyal fan base, in South Africa. If the public decide they're going to support you, and they've been supporting me for like 30 years, as long as you don't disappoint them, and you just keep on doing what you do, and your live shows are at a certain level, and you try and do the best you can, kind of thing, I think you'll be okay. Just carry on. I've never sat back on my laurels and written a hit song and then sat back and said, okay, this will keep me going for the next 5 years, kind of thing. I've always just come out with new stuff the whole time. I like doing it, with CDs gone now, with streaming, I basically do a new song every 3 months.
Wow.
I was with my record company this morning. We did a Zoom call, and we decided to do 5 new songs for October. We only release one every 3 months, but we decided for once, let's release like a kind of an EP kind of thing, and with stuff I've done over the last 3 years, singles I've released. So we've got about 18 songs on an album that we're releasing in the beginning of November.
But you're also, and this is also what I find with all the South African artists, is their connection with their audience. That's so great, that you're talking about very loyal, your supporters are very loyal, but you yourself, and I find that with everybody, they are really connecting with their audience.
Well, it's such a small market, the Afrikaans market, that I think once something is taken hold, whether it be as a fan of music or whether it be as an artist producing that music, I think you kind of make it count, kind of thing, and I think that connection is great. And in South Africa, you're doing shows 3 times a week. There's different festivals. That's why South Africans have a good time. They have these festivals every single weekend. Somewhere in South Africa, there's at least 4 or 5 festivals going on. And luckily, the kind of music I make is festival music. It's just have a good time kind of music, And then another good thing is a lot of my songs that I've written over the years, I know about 35 to 40 of my songs have been translated into German, Dutch, all the Benelux countries. I've had a lot of songs translated by the guys over there. So if I do go and sing in Holland, no, plenty. So there's a lot of big artists over there that have recorded my music that I sing. So when I go and sing over there, it's quite funny because you've got all these artists, and there's 15 artists at street festivals, 10,000 people. Out of those 15 artists, at least 8 of them are singing at least one of my songs.
Wow.
That they've now done in Dutch or in German or whatever. So it's a lot of fun.
But that's a great compliment.
Yeah, it's a great compliment.
Yeah. So did you sort of plan for it to happen? I mean, did you try to find somebody to sing your song, or was this just organic? Somebody heard your music and they wanted to sing it?
Yeah, it was organic. And once it gets going, so once an artist records a song kind of thing, then they wait for a new song to come out or a new CD. If you're talking like 10, 15 years ago, a new CD to come out, and they will go through my songs and find, okay, there's something that's going to work for them there. Because I think our music and the Afrikaans music and the music in the Benelux countries is very intertwined. I know that a lot of the Afrikaans artists through the years in South Africa, a lot of the big artists also translated a lot of the Dutch songs and the German songs, So I think it's very intertwined. In my case, I have translated a couple, but most of my music has been translated by the Dutch, German, Swiss, Belgian community.
Wow. But that's that type of music also, that your music is really, it's very universal. I mean, it's got that lively sort of beat. So when you hear it, you want to move.
Yeah, and I don't really have any political messages. Well, I don't have at all. Political messages in my music. It's just music to, I write about all subjects. I think most of my songs end up being love songs kind of thing in fun kind of ways. So people identify them. Hemel op Tafelberg has been used on so many weddings. Kaptein has been used in stadiums all around the world. Whenever South Africa is playing cricket or rugby or anything, Kaptein blaze out in speakers. And that's been great for me, So I never want to put myself in a box and say I only do this kind of music. I think I do the party stuff and I do some of the deep stuff as well.
And what inspires a song? Because you seem to you say that you hear the melody or you have a melody in you, but what really inspires the lyrics then? Do you go on things that happen in your life?
Yeah, well, maybe sometimes it's things that happen in my life. I don't get too personal in my songs, but I think a lot of it has got to do with I really pay attention to what's happening around me. I'm well read. I will keep up with what's happening in the world the whole time. I've read my whole life, as in books and novels, whatever. And I really try and keep my general knowledge at a good par, so that when I am writing about something, it'll work in the song kind of thing. I don't think when I started reading all those years ago, at the age of 6 or 7 or whatever, I started reading like these Wilbur Smith novels or whatever. I don't think that was the aim. I just enjoyed reading. And I enjoy knowing how things work. I enjoy knowing how, I never really knew how an engine works. I've never really been a car kind of guy. I drive nice cars, but I've never been a car. I don't know what horsepower that is and how much fuel it uses per kilometer and all that. I've never been that guy. And then I went and trained as a helicopter pilot just to know how an engine works. So now I know how a piston engine works and whatever. So I went and trained, and I did I went and trained as a helicopter pilot just to challenge myself, And I think it's important wherever you go in the world to kind of know something about that country. I just came back from Australia, and it was nice with our touring group just also be able to say to people, that is why that is there, that is why that bridge is there, and that is why this transport system is there and all that kind of stuff. So I like doing that. It's always been a hobby of mine. I like to be informed.
Yeah, well, I saw your little encounter with a kangaroo. When you,
Yeah, my wife was quite upset because that was her main thing about going on tour with me to Australia. She wanted to see kangaroos and koalas. So anyway, we could really see them. It was in a koala park I think we were in Brisbane. And we actually flew in from Sydney night before. We flew in that morning. We had basically an hour at the kangaroo park, and then we had to go and do sound checks and do the show, And so she wasn't too happy that we had to rush her through the kangaroo experience. But it was a lot of fun at the end of the day, And my wife's always been like kind of where I bounce things off her kind of thing. And then she's had this idea for a song for about 4 years called Bosses Make Course. And I always think, yes, I don't know if that's my kind of song. We've tried to write Bosses Make Course. And then about 2 months ago, we actually wrote it, her and I.
Really?
She's never written a song before, really. And her and I actually wrote this Bosses Make Course, and it's coming out in November. And it's a great song. The record company was like amazed. It's a great song. Wow. So it's good to have the input. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's just also another lesson. Just your wife is always right.
Correct. My wife is always right. You're 100% right. She's listening over there on the other
side. No, but amazing. And does she have a music background?
She doesn't have a music background. She's got a dancing background.
Okay.
So she has danced before and a modeling background, and she studied psychology. So she's got her master's. So maybe that plays a bit of a role, Maybe I'm just her experiment. Who knows?
Maybe she knows how to work with you.
Yeah, well, we've been together for 20 years. So by this stage, she really knows.
She knows, yeah. But what a great support also to have your wife, as sort of there for you. And because I mean, this is it's a hard job to do. People think it's not, but yesterday I spoke to a theater manager, and we were talking about the fact that people from the outside just see the fun part, but they don't see all the, like you say, the sound checks and the rehearsing and getting the band there and getting all the logistics, and that also is part of you. It's part of your work.
And being away weekends, I've been doing this for so long. I've missed out on so many weddings and birthdays and everything, but it's just part of this life kind of thing, So they all accept it and they just support. And when I do get to spend time with them, we spend nice quality time. We go to the bush, wherever, and we just like spending time together, myself, her, and the kids. So it's actually great to have that little breakaway when you can, and they understand that I just need to also just get some air kind of thing, and then go back and I'm energized for my next session of wherever I'm on my way to.
So your children, do they also show talent in music?
Well, they're both playing piano. My son started with guitar as well, and he started doing drums. He hasn't really he can play, but he hasn't really pursued that. But both of them, song plays on the radio, they just start singing with, which is amazing. They just start singing with out of the middle of nowhere. You don't have to entice them or anything. I certainly don't sit there and go, okay, you must sing now, you must sing now. I don't do that at all. They just naturally do it. So they both naturally got a love for music, and they both naturally got this affinity to catch onto a melody. So probably born with it.
Yeah, but do you come from a musical family?
My mother sang, played guitar, but my dad not. But he had a great love for music. He had a great love for soul music. So we were brought up on anything from Charlie Pride to Eagles to Bee Gees to anything in that era kind of thing. That's the kind of music that was played around the house. So there was a lot of music in our house, but my mother was the musical one. Yeah.
And you, as a child, did you play instruments, or what led you to to become an artist? Did you?
I don't know. I just from an early age I could just sing. I used to be the party trick at birthday parties and things. They used to call me when I was like 7, 8, 9, 10 years old to come and sing in front of the people or in front of my parents' friends or whatever. And I sing Jerusalem and the green, green grass of home and whatever, So I just always been able to sing. Musical instrument wise, when I was 10 years old, I think I was 10 years old, my dad wanted to pay for me to go for guitar lessons, and I was too cool for school at that stage. And I said, nah, I'm okay, I'll just sing it. And I always regret that. So I play a little bit of guitar, but I wish I'd mastered the instrument. And now at this stage of my life, I know it's quite a lazy thing to say, but I don't know if I have the love for physically picking up a guitar and playing the whole time, for 5 hours on end kind of thing. What I've done is always a business as well. I plan shows. I plan boat cruises. Got a company that does all that kind of stuff, and I plan big events. So my forte is more in the business side kind of thing, and kind of bouncing off what I've built up over the years and the contacts I've built up over the years.
Well, the business side is very interesting. There's a pianist, South African pianist, Charles de Toy, no? I think it is. And he told me that he used to let his parents pay to hear him play piano. And this is where they had to pay 10 Rand. So this is where his business sense came from, and you saying also you have a business mind, so you put yourself out there and how to the business side of the industry.
I plan really big shows, and even the cruises I do every year, my wife and I do together. We plan massive cruises out of South Africa, when it's cruise season, and it's just a party on the ship, and we book all the artists, everything. I'm doing a Kaptein and Vrienden now at Monte Casino in October, and we had a book, all the artists. Monte Cassino approached me for that, but they knew that I could put something like that together. So I love doing things like that. I love putting shows together and making them work. And I believe completely in a symbiotic relationship. So even with sponsors and everything, I will never just take a sponsor's complete everything and not give anything back kind of thing. I believe anything in life is symbiotic. So even in business, there's no way that I would, how can I put it, make everything and the other person nothing kind of thing. And I've learned that in life, even if I have to make a little less, I'll always make sure that everyone around me also gains from what I'm doing.
And this is great that you do these shows with other artists as well, because I think this collaboration between artists is always so wonderful, because this is what art is about. Bringing people together, bringing different audiences together, because I assume when you bring different artists together, you also have audiences that are more sort of varied, that they come for different artists, but then they hear somebody else as well. And then it's like that, oh, wow.
You give them the opportunity to get to know other artists as well and get to know other music. I think I love that. I've always... In my career, my record company knows me very well. I don't compete against anyone. I compete against my last production kind of thing. I don't follow the trend of what's happening right now with another artist kind of thing. I kind of just go my way, and I know what I need to do kind of thing. And it's nice every now and then to also experience being with other artists at these shows kind of thing, getting new perspectives on things. Otherwise you never would.
No, but it's true, and in South Africa, because South Africa, it is a fact that there are not many open theaters anymore. So it seems that the artists have come together and they're creating, and like you say, they do these festivals, and it's amazing to see what South African artists come up to. And I think this is such a great example, really, to show that even though you don't get funding, or like in Europe, I heard that the theaters, they get about 80% funding from the state. So in South Africa, that's non-existent. So you guys just get out there and do your thing and create your concerts and create your exposure.
Yeah, we've always had to do that, so we're kind of used to it. It's like so weird. Like even when we toured Australia and New Zealand now, there are so many rules in place, which I suppose are good at some in some circumstances. But in South Africa, they say a boer maak 'n plan kind of thing. You got to just make a plan to make it work, whatever it is. If the sound isn't 100% correct, there is a way to make it presentable for the majority of people out there, or whatever it is. If there's a lighting problem, whatever. I think in other countries they'll panic, and go on this thing and write to the union and all this kind of thing. I don't think we have that in South Africa. South Africa, you got to kind of just make it work, and I don't mind that. I don't mind. You wish most of the time that 100% of the time it goes okay, but sometimes there's going to be times when you got to make a plan. And luckily, if you surrounded yourself with the right people and the right-minded people, then you'll be okay.
But Kurt, for you now, what are the wishes? What would you still like to do in your career? Because you just seem to get on with it, and for so many years.
I think if you put in the hard work, then it'll fall into place. We did a show called Kronen now at Loftus Versfeld, 30,000 people. We did last Saturday, but you work on it, the song choice for about 20 artists, and then you actually do the show. But from the Monday to the Saturday, that's what people don't see. From the Monday, you're sitting in circles, going over the medleys. From 8 o'clock in the morning till 6 o'clock. Next day, 8 o'clock in the morning, plotting. Sorry, till 6 o'clock. Next morning, same thing, all the way to Saturday. Even Saturday, you're doing a run-through of the show. Friday night, you're doing a run-through till 12:30 at night. But then Saturday night, when you actually do the show, everything just runs smoothly. So if you put in the hard hours and the hard work, it's going to work out at the end of the day. It cannot not work out. You know what you need to do on the stage, and if technically it does not fail, as in like the technical side of things, which can happen, then you know what you're going to do on that stage. As long as you know exactly what you're going to do, you're going to be okay. And that only comes with experience. So my advice to younger singers or younger artists, younger actors out there is just get the experience, because you're going to know how to handle a situation very quickly if you have that experience behind you. Otherwise, you panic and no one's really told you. I think mentors in South Africa are also badly needed, kind of thing. People get thrust into competitions, these singing competitions or whatever, but they never really get that experience before they thrust into the open world and go, yeah, we are, here's 10,000 people in front of you, but there's no one that really tells you what to do when something goes wrong, kind of thing.
But
or how to really make it work,
Yeah, you're talking about the young singers now. I did an interview with Christy Steyn, a young singer in South Africa. How difficult do you think it is for these young singers to get into the industry? Because you guys are so established, you're so well known, you have the records and the hits, for young artists. Do you sort of open your wings for them?
No, definitely. I'm always involving younger artists in the shows just to give them that kind of exposure and that break they need. And then it's up to them to capitalize on that, But the young artists also, the good thing is social media, as in like the TikToks of the world and stuff, Anything if used correctly is a good, TikTok is not great if you've got a 9-year-old daughter and her friends are watching weird things on TikTok, but it's great for artists.
Yeah.
If they use it in the correct kind of way to get their music out there, YouTube music, all that stuff, just to get themselves, because so they can nowadays be seen by a very wider audience than we could all those years ago. All those years ago you had TV every now and then, had a TV program kind of thing, but you didn't really have the technology you have today. So these guys can go into the rooms now, whatever new song they've written, pick up a guitar, play it, and get signed by a record company.
Yeah.
So it's great as long as you've got that in you, if you've got that in you and that fight in you and that belief in yourself, then you can go places for sure.
And like you say, also, previously to get a record deal or to have a record made was so complicated, whereas now, you can record yourself, you can get sort of the gear to get yourself going. So they do have a lot of advantages, but then it's just like you say, it's the grafting, it's can they work, can they do these things, like you say, with these performances, there's a lot behind the scenes that not everybody knows about.
Yeah, they have the advantages, but they also there's a lot of competition around nowadays. As in like this, everyone's trying to rise above the rest. I don't, I'll always try and better my last thing or my last performance, my last recording, but I don't really have to prove anything anymore. I've kind of achieved enough in what I've wanted to achieve. I always want to achieve more, but that I don't really have to go and prove myself. But these youngsters, they've got to get up there and show they don't only have one song in them. They've got a couple of songs in a row kind of thing. Keep the attention and get this loyal following going kind of thing, which on social media, if you do it the right way, you've seen worldwide what happens when someone really hits the right note with an audience, they can become stars overnight and then their whole lives can change.
Do you see a good future for Afrikaans music internationally as well as in South Africa?
I do. We tour the whole time all over the world because there's so many expats all over the world, ex-South Africans, and the English and Afrikaans people go to the shows. But in South Africa, obviously the market's always going to be there. Nice, strong Afrikaans following. Just as long as I don't really do the politics and stuff like that. As long as you just keep it about the music and tell your stories the way you want to tell your stories, kind of thing. And be a musician, then you're okay. So I think, yeah, definitely there's a future. There's nothing wrong with doing an English song or two every now and then as an Afrikaans singer. You know, show your versatility. There's nothing wrong with that at all.
But I have to ask you now, Kurt Darren, that's a stage name. Your surname is not really Darren.
No, it's Van Heerden. So my dad was Afrikaans, my mother's from Zimbabwe. So she was English. So we went to English schools, but we grew up Afrikaans. So weekends would be Afrikaans with my dad was one of 13 children. So we had an Afrikaans and English upbringing kind of thing. My kids chose Afrikaans. They want to be Afrikaans and they're loving it. My wife is Afrikaans. And I think it is good though to be able to speak a couple of languages, you know, just to be fluent in a couple of languages, business-wise as well as music-wise, and expose yourself to different kind of musical styles. Doesn't mean you have to just listen to the kind of music you make, kind of thing. Expose yourself to different styles, and that'll enable you to write unforgettable songs.
Exactly, yeah, and it opens the world. You know, when you do that.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Kurt, it was so great to talk to you.
Thank you.
Love your music. I love the fact that your music is translated. You know, that means a lot. I mean, that says a lot. And also great that you give young artists the opportunity, and that you see a future, and that you create your work, you know, that you create the art and do your thing on the ships and the festivals and so on. That's wonderful.
No, thank you. No, thank you. And I hope I can do it for many more years to come. I've still got a lot of energy in me, so it's not going to stop me.
Yeah, I can hear that. And hope there will be more songs with you and your wife writing together. Yeah.
Start of bright things to come. So
yeah.
Thank you so
that's
much.
Great. But have a wonderful afternoon.
Thanks, Petra. I appreciate it.
I hope we see you in Vienna in concert.
Yeah,
We haven't pursued that one.
We haven't pursued Vienna, you know. I haven't even been to Vienna. I've been everywhere around the world. I've been to Venice. I've been to Monaco. I've been everywhere around the world. I haven't been to Vienna. So I'd love to go make a turn in Vienna, you know. And that's culture hotspot there, you know. I'd love to just go and immerse myself in that culture for a while. And who knows what will come out of that, you know. Who knows what influences it'll be songwriting wise. I think it'll be amazing. So I'll make an effort.
I'll make a wish.
Thank you.